Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Flip Side Podcast. I'm your host, Retro Ralph, and today we're going to talk all about my TWIPY experience. We just got back from Houston, and man, I gotta say, this was honestly one of my very favorite pinball trips I've ever taken. I had such a good time with good friends and good people. The Houston pinball community is hot, man. It is hot. You could pretty much play a tournament almost every day of the freaking week. It is a very cool place for pinball. But anyways, before we get into it, we're going to talk about that. We're going to take some voicemails, and we're going to figure out what the hell's going on with Barrels of Fun. They're being so top secret. David Van Esse's like, come on into my house. I'm not going to show you too much, but I'm going to show you something. I'm going to keep you guessing. He definitely kept us guessing. But I have a newfound respect for, I already had respect for Barrels of Fun, but I have even more now after being there and getting to tour their facility and meet everybody that works there. Really cool people. So what we're going to do is, before we get started, as always, we're going to hear a word from our sponsor, Flippin' Out Pinball. Are you looking for a new pinball machine, a used pinball machine, or to trade in your old pinball machine for something new? Look no further than Flippin' Out Pinball. They can handle all your pinball needs. They ship anywhere in the United States, and they will give you the best experience in the business. Check out the link to Flippin' Out Pinball in the video description for more information. Now, back to the video. All right, we're going to dive right into it, guys. Okay, so here's the deal. This weekend was amazing. I got hats off to Colin and the whole TWIPY committee because the weekend they put together. So keep in mind, this event, this was the reboot, and this was the first time, hosting it at the Wormhole, which the Wormhole is freaking epic. It is an amazing place to play pinball. Really cool game selection, good mix of modern and classics and things you just don't see, like rarities. And so it's just really cool. And then like I said, the Houston pinball community is really great. So this weekend that they put together was all around the TWIPYs. So if you bought a ticket to go see the event live, right? Because obviously we live streamed it, but you could also see it. You got to experience all these things. So I'm going to kind of paint the picture of what we did. And then also, if you want, you could go to my YouTube channel, Retro Ralph, and you can actually watch a whole video recap of it, which I think was pretty well done. And it does document all this, but I just feel like I want to go into a little bit more detail on some of these things. So first of all, Russell, aka RJ Texan on Pinside. He's a big pinball fan. He's been in the hobby for a long time. And he basically said, look, if you're going to the TWIPYs, this was something he offered up. He said, hey guys, I want to offer up my house, open house for you guys, anybody going to the TWIPYs on Friday morning. So I fly in Thursday. I didn't get a lot of sleep on Thursday night because I was so excited. And I also got in really late. I didn't get into my hotel until about midnight. So he's like, yeah, we want you to come over to my house on Friday. So there was probably, I don't know how many TWIPY on location tickets were sold. I didn't actually get the final number from Colin, but there was quite a few. So we show up, Friday morning. I drive Colin over. Colin didn't have a car. I rented a car. So so I got a chance to hang out with Colin a little bit more, just talk in the car. I think he's probably, I think if I ask Colin, he's probably like, dude, Ralph doesn't stop talking. I like to talk. I'm a talker. That's why I can have a podcast, right? But I talked Colin's ear off, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I think he's like, dude, I just want to, I love Colin, but I think he's like, okay, I can't wait to get in the car and get away from you. I don't think he really thinks that, but I was talking his ear off, that's for sure. So we get to this guy Russell's house. We meet up, and it's me, it's Ian, Ian wasn't there yet, sorry. Jamie from the Wormhole. Aaron couldn't make it yet. I don't think Aaron was in town yet. So we go up to this house, and it's a beautiful house. I mean, he has got it's a beautiful, beautiful home. And we walk in, and he's got name tags to put on. He's got donuts laid out, and then you look beyond the sort of grand entrance, and there's a guy making Bloody Mary. He hired a bartender. I mean, he hired a freaking bartender. So Russell knows how to do up a party. And his game selection was just, I mean, he didn't have a lot of older classic games, but holy crap, he had like almost everything that's been new in the past like 5 years, maybe even 10. It was just everything. But what struck me about his house the most outside of their amazing hospitality. By the way, they did have people making food for us too. So there was this whole spread of food. They had this like grand, I didn't take any video footage of this. I wanted to be like, Russell didn't have any problem with it, but I don't know. I was in someone else's home. I didn't want to be like that guy that's just got his camera out all the time. And I did film some stuff. Oh man, my zipper's down. My wife always, I just looked down at I felt a draft. My wife always makes fun of me whenever we go anywhere. She looks at my zipper and she's like, your fly's down. Like I always have my fly down. I don't know why, but yeah, that's a really interesting sidetrack. But I didn't have my fly down at Russell's house, luckily. So I was enamored with his collection and just his passion for pinball. There was a lot of people there. There was a lot of community people there. I got to meet, I think it's Jerry. I always get his name. I think it's Jerry. I think it's Jerry from P3 Multimorphic. He was there. A couple of guys from Barrels of Fun were there. And then there was just a bunch of community members there as well. But he had like, in this one room, he had this spiral staircase in the corner. He had Big Lebowski. And this room was like this like old mahogany wood. Like, I don't know, it fit the vibe. And he had a spiral staircase, and then the Big Lebowski was right there. And then in that room, he had a couple more pins, and I can't remember which ones he had in there. I want to say maybe he had Guns N' Roses, maybe, and then John Wick and something else in that one room. But it was like this really cool vibe in that room. And then upstairs, if you walked up that spiral staircase, there were more games up there. There was a bunch of games in the grand entrance area, which I don't think were there normally. His wife was like, look, we moved these here for you guys coming. So it's just really cool for him to do that. So the reason why I'm telling you all this is that next year, the plan is to host the TWIPYs again in Houston. I think the plan would be to do it at the Wormhole, and these activities that I'm talking about would be things you'd be able to do as well for next year, and we're probably even going to plan more for next year. So anyway, so Russell, thank you if you listen to this. He was awesome. The game that I was enamored that he had an immaculate Pirates of the Caribbean with that topper, and I can't remember the name of the company that makes that topper. It was I want to say it was like $2,500 when it came out, and it's got like an LCD screen of the ocean, and it has it's like ocean waves, and it's got like thunder and lightning effects, and then it's just really cool. For those of you that are watching this, I'll try to overlay some footage so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But if not, and you wanna see what I'm talking about, just go watch the video on Retro Ralph. It's my latest video, and it's all about this event. So then from there, we go to the Wormhole's vault. So Wormhole Pinball has their own location, but this is their vault location. So in their vault location, it's all games that they've acquired that are kind of coming in. It's a little bit of like an overflow of the collection, but some of it is also things that are brand new that they just got, right? So they're in various states of repair. Some of them are working fine, but it's like all these crazy rare European titles, like things I had never played before. And it's weird when you start playing these old games like these Zachariah. I always say Zachariah. I don't know what the proper. I never get it right. Some people say it different ways. So whatever. If you want to correct me in the comments, go for it. But there was this one game, and I can't remember the name of it. It was a Zachariah game, and in the playfield, it was Time Machine, I think it was called, right? So there was a shot on the left, and it made me think, oh my gosh, the innovation for a game made this long ago. You'd hit the shot from the left, and the playfield looked flat, and then the whole playfield would come up. So it was like hidden under the playfield, and it would pop up, and all of a sudden you'd have all these other shots to hit. It was so freaking cool. The other thing that's really cool that I'm not as in tune with these Zachariah games, but I almost wish that like modern titles would take on some of this cool stuff that they used to do. So when you drain on ball 3, depending on how well you did, you get another ball. So it's like your final attempt. And then depending on how you play, you have a timer that times down. So if you're playing better, I don't know what the criteria is in the code, but if you're playing better, you get more of a timer of this last ball. And you just play, and that timer's ticking down, and you have that 4th ball to play. And then once your timer's up, like your flippers just die. It's like kind of cool because the whole game just like sort of dies. I think that's really neat. The other game that I played that's, I think, Zachariah 2 is called Robot. In that one, it had like a shot on the left, and when you'd hit it, these little robot heads would pop up, like almost like whack-a-mole, and you'd hit them down. Like there was just so many cool, innovative old games that I got to experience that Some of them were like one of one or one of not many, like maybe like 5 that still exist. And then you start looking on Pinside and it's like no location has them. So like they're the only ones. So it's really cool. This other game I played was this horror themed game called Terrific Lake. In my mind, it's terrific, like terror, but it's spelt terrific. It was weird, man. Like the audio was super, I don't know, like it was an older game, so of course they can't exploit like some of the modern technologies that they have in like modern audio packages with the technology that they have in today's world, but man, they had like a heartbeat and just the tension it built in a game that was that old. I was just fascinated. So so the vault was really cool. You could have spent hours in there. We were there for about an hour and a half. I think that we stayed a little bit longer than that. But it was just so cool to see all these games that will eventually end up in the wormhole in there, for people to play. So I think the thought is that they kind of cycle games in and out. I know I was talking to Jamie and he said they have this rule that if it ends up at the wormhole, they have to at least stream it once. Like it has to be documented before it goes back into the vault. And then obviously I think there's probably staple games that are probably just always going to stay on the floor. So anyways, the vault was really cool and everyone really enjoyed the vault. So far, this is only Friday, and we've gone to Russell's house, which was epic, and then we go to this wormhole vault. So you're playing all of these super rare games. There's some modern ones in there, but not much. It was mostly just like rarities, oddities, and like one-off games like that. Lots of conversions, like really cool. There was one, I can't remember the name of it. That was basically a straight ripoff of Never Ending Story. It was an old game though, so it didn't have like modern music in it really, but all the artwork, like these European games, like they didn't care about licensing. They were like, yeah, cool, whatever. Like there was a playfield that had like Starsky and Hutch and RoboCop on it. It was like a cop themed game. I can't remember the name of that, but yeah, like super cool stuff over there. So this, keep in mind, we're only on day one. So I would urge you, if you want to go on a cool trip next year, and I don't know, there's some debate going on of when the TWIPYs are going to be next year. So just kind of hold off. Like I don't know when it will be, but just start thinking about like this could be a cool thing for you to go to. And I know they're going to limit the tickets, but anyway, so that's two events in one day. But boom, there was one more event. So Eureka Heights Brewing opened up their doors to anybody on the I mean, you could have just gone there, obviously, but the whole thing was this was the third stop on the first day, and then we did an IFPA tournament. There was also a Dungeons and Dragons launch party. That was super fun. They had a food truck that was making tacos. The tacos were amazing. The beers were pretty good. I got to meet Craig, who, so this guy, Craig, helped me fix my, rest in peace, Uncanny X-Men, because you're no longer in the collection. But I did play the new code at Russell's house. I'm actually like, it's getting there. They're making some improvements. I'm sure I'll actually regret it at some point if they keep making improvements, but I don't know. I don't want to say bad things about Uncanny X-Men because honestly, I love Jack and the design is really innovative and it is very fun to shoot. It's just I want more out of the code for me personally, and I think a lot of others feel that way too. But I can appreciate the effort that Jack put into the design. Like the design of that game is really cool. I mean, he won at the TWIPYs. They won for top innovation, for the Danger Room. So, anyways. But I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, so I met this guy, Craig, that I had only talked to on Pinside, and he's the one that helped me fix my auto plunge issue before there was an actual fix. And he got me to like basically 85% success rate. So it was kind of cool to meet someone that I had only talked to on Pinside in real life. And then I'll tell you one more thing about their Eureka Heights. So I was playing pretty good in the tournament at first. I got Rick and Morty, and man, I suck at that game. I just suck at Rick and Morty. And it's weird because I know I never play good on it, so I get in my own head. So I was terrible. I think I played with Mark Seiden. For those of you who don't know Mark is actually the designer for Avatar. I think I played that game with him. I played one of the games. I played one game with Mark and one game with Mark's wife. They're freaking very cool people. Like, oh my gosh, super, super cool. The Seidens are like quality people. Very, very nice people. So anyways, I hung out with them. And it was really cool because fast forward to the TWIPYs, they won for the best art package, which I thought was very much like they deserve that. Oh my gosh, Avatar is beautiful. The game is freaking beautiful. So anyways, so one more story from the Eureka Heights that was fun is I was playing with Ian from Nudge Magazine, aka Doc Monday. And I usually do pretty well on jaws in tournaments. And man, I just was struggling. Ball one and ball two were not good. And Ian put up like, dude, like 800 million on jaws in a tournament. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to come back. I came back a little bit, but not like I had a really good ball three, but that was kind of disappointing. I get a little stressed. I love Ian. He's a really good friend of mine. I get a little stressed when I play with Ian though. Like he's kind of intense and I feel like I let him like he also likes getting in my head. But I had a couple cool games with Ian. I actually did beat him in Dungeons and Dragons by about 10 million when I was way behind. Way behind. I started the game with like 20 million and he was up to 210, I think, million, and that was his ball three. And then I finished at 220 million. So, and by the way, speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, because this was a Dungeons and Dragons launch party, I'm really liking Dungeons and Dragons, guys. I can't sit here and tell you that I could explain the rules to you. It takes me a while. I'm not like Joel, who's just like a computer when it comes to. I really don't know. I don't know if Joel listens to the podcast, but he's a unique individual, man. I don't know how he can remember everything about a game like that. It takes me tons of plays. And even then, I don't think I could explain it as good as him. Like he just digests the code and knows it. And look, you don't have to be that way. Like you don't have to know every little thing about a pinball game to enjoy it. But I think once you start learning the code well in any game, you will have more fun because you start understanding the progression of the game. I will say this though. I've been thinking about this ever since my trip. From playing some of the older games and then playing because I was playing a lot of old classics and rare games, every different manufacturer. And I'll say that like modern pinball can be difficult to understand. But I think I don't know, I don't envy the designers and the developers trying to figure out how do you make a game that has enough accessibility so that someone new can have fun and not be discouraged by it. So that's a tough thing. I think for the hobby to continue to grow, you have to serve both customers. You have to serve the person that's really good, right? That's been in the hobby for a long time because you don't want them to be bored, but you also can't be so you can't make it be so unapproachable that the new person is like so turned off because they can't have fun not understanding the code. So anyways, I'm going on a diatribe there. So, anyways, I had a really fun time there. I talked to one of the guys over at Barrels of Fun. For some reason, I can't remember his name. Not David, but he was really nice guy, and I met him for the first time. We played Toy Story together, Toy Story 4, and I beat him. He owned the game, and I did beat him. I think I got first on Toy Story 4. You know what's funny about Toy Story 4? I don't hate that game. I actually find that game pretty fun, and I think people hate it. I don't know why they hate it. I think Toy Story 4 is pretty fun. Would I want to own it? No. Do I think it should have been Toy Story 1? Yes. Or maybe like all of them. But yeah, like it's I had fun with it. I have fun with every time I play Toy Story 4, I have fun with it. I love that little ramp that you can shoot the ball off of. I don't know, man. Some people I wonder if they just hate it because other people say that it's bad. I really enjoy it every time I play it. But again, asterisks. Would I want to own it? Maybe not. Okay. We got to hurry up because we're not going to get through the rest of the day. So that was Friday. Epic. Freaking epic. Oh, by the way, on Friday night, so Friday night after the Eureka thing, we didn't get out of there till almost 11. And I was talking to Jamie and I was like, dude, we got to go back and like test the freaking streams and test everything. Like we have to make sure everything is good. Test the internet, test all the scenes that he had for the show because it was very complex. I mean, I'd say Jamie was really pushing the limits of what OBS can do. I use OBS to record this podcast. I've used OBS a lot. I used to do a lot more live streaming, and OBS is like an open source piece of software, and he was really pushing the limits of what it can do. So anyways, there was some last minute things that it wasn't my job, by the way, to help in a technical way. That wasn't really, I was just a host. But I asked Jamie, I was like, can I help? Like, I want to help. So I did get stuff, kind of, I pushed some of the limits on some of the things, like the mics weren't sounding like I thought they should. It was picking up a lot of like background pinball noise. And I just said, hey, that might not sound great on stream. So I kind of tuned all that stuff up to sound as good as it could. We had some issues during the show. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, like there was an actual internet outage, which sucked. All of the upload speeds. So the download speeds were fine. Upload speeds were completely crippled. And it just happened to happen in like 15 minutes into the show. So that's not easy to do. I used to do lots of live streaming. I don't as much anymore. It is difficult when you have a technical the problem. Like now I get a little bit more calm and cool with that because I work in a technical field. I used to have to do live demos for a customer. You just gotta like, if when an issue like that happens, you just gotta stay chill and you gotta like be level headed, don't freak out. And that's kind of like Aaron and I were like Jamie's calmness. Like, hey, Jamie, we got this. Like, we'll stop the stream and we'll figure it out. And that's what we did. And we just continued, you know, we had a couple of other technical glitches, but I also got to hand it to Jamie. He was producing and hosting at the same time. I don't think he should do that next year. I think we need someone to produce and then the hosts to be hosts, you know, because then they can deal with the, you know, it's more seamless. The hosts are fully engaged and not doing two things. You know what I mean? So anyways, so that was Friday. So we went back to the Wormhole. Then we went to eat after that. So I didn't get back to my hotel till a little after 1 a.m. So keep in mind, that's day one, and we haven't even got to the TWIPY day yet. So then Saturday morning hits, and we go to Barrels of Fun. We had to sign an NDA. Barrels of Fun, the guys at Barrels of Fun are really freaking cool, man. Like, really cool. It was definitely different than, and I'm not to take away from anything Stern does, but this kind of felt like, and the Stern tours do feel like you're part of the team, but also like, you know, a little bit more controlled, like, hey, don't go here, don't go there. And I'm not saying that Barrels wasn't a little bit like that too, but it kind of felt like, and maybe because it's a smaller operation, like we could just go wherever we wanted. Obviously there were places off limits, but they showed us everything. I thought that was really cool. And I gotta say, for a company that has only made one game, right? Labyrinth, holy shit. Like, these guys have their shit together and they're passionate, you know? So it's really cool to see this group of people. We got to see the last builds of Labyrinth. They had them on the line at the end. So basically we got to play ones that were in their last stages of quality assurance. They do a lot of QA at Barrels of Fun, and I really appreciate that. It seems like they do a lot of due diligence when it comes to quality assurance. And the other thing too is I get the vibe that they have a very collector mindset. Like, they don't want stuff going out that door unless they're satisfied with it. So I think that might slow them down, but I don't think they care. They're just like, look, if it slows it down, it slows it down. But I can guarantee you, or at least to the best of their abilities, that what you're going to get is a quality game when it comes to your home. So really appreciated Barrels of Fun. I don't know what Colin was doing. I think Colin was trying to troll people, because I swear to God, every now and then we would see Goonies references around, and I'm like, they didn't do this. I think Colin's trying to troll people. Now I'm more confused than ever, because I don't know if Colin was trolling or if they were trolling. But you know the key in the Goonies, when he's like, I can't remember, it's when they're playing the piano and I can't remember if it's that scene or not. I thought it was, where they have to play the piano, where he locks the that like skeleton key. That was laying around on a box of toppers, but I don't think Barrels did it. I think Colin did it. So I don't know. I'm so confused, because I really thought it was G.I. Joe, and now I don't know. But they did show us something. It wasn't the next game, and it's definitely something I can't talk about. And I said it in the video. I can't talk about it. But I'll say this. It's something, this is the only hint I can really give you. It's a game that does exist, that has been built before, but I never see it working. That's all I can say. And they showed us this thing, and they were very clear that this is not their next game. Hopefully I don't get myself in trouble. Hopefully David doesn't email me and go, what are you talking? Like, he did say we could talk about it to an extent, but be a little vague. And I'm trying to do that without giving it away or saying what it is. I don't know. Their thought, I think, is they acquired this thing. They might do something with it in a very limited capacity if they feel like the community would like it. And I think you could probably get at least 100 people. If you did a limited run of this thing, I think you could get 100 people that would want it. I do. Maybe more. I don't know. It's very strange and different, so it's not traditional. So I don't know. But I can't tell you more than that right now. I don't know when they plan on even talking about it, but they showed us some really cool things, because when they acquired this, they also acquired some documentation from another designer, which was fascinating to me. Really cool stuff. So we'll see. So I guess the bottom line is, Barrels is going to do some cool shit. And I think their whole attitude is just like, look, we're going to make something that we think is cool. that we think the community will think is cool, but we're also going to be so tight-lipped that you're never going to know. I don't know what David and the team is doing over there to keep everyone tight-lipped, but I'm glad because I think I kind of get bummed when people leak stuff because I love that excitement that we don't get that much anymore because of the internet. Like the internet spoils friggin' everything. Every show you like gets spoiled. Everything gets spoiled. Product launches get spoiled. That's why I've never really been much of a leaker content creator because I really like to be surprised. And so, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine on what their next game is. Is it going to be Goonies? I don't know. Is it going to be G.I. Joe? I don't know. Is it going to be Dune? Who the hell knows? But I think whatever they make is going to be of high quality. Now, the only thing that's kind of like mysterious is for Texas Pinball Festival, they have their games on the list with question marks on them. So I did kind of ask David a little bit about that. And they said, look, there could be an opportunity to show a game, but if our game is not ready, we're not going to bring it to Texas Pinball Festival. So there's a chance. I think he has a unique opportunity because I don't think you're going to see any other game launched at TPF. The only other game release that might be launched at TPF is maybe the new multimorphic P3 game, which I think, I don't know, everyone's saying is Portal, and I feel like that cat seems to be out of the bag. It's being reported everywhere as Portal. I very lightly played that video game. That doesn't really interest me too much. I think the P3 multimorphic platform is kind of cool. Like, there's definitely like part of me really wants to like that platform. And when I talked to Jerry at Russell's house, because he was there, he's really passionate about what he's doing. The problem is, and this is just me being honest, when I talk to people, it just seems like the general consensus in the community is that people haven't like fully embraced this thing. Like they just, I don't know. Like I think traditional pinball in the modern world has done a good job of bringing the analog and digital together enough. And it seems like people view their platform as too digital, that it took it too far and everyone's okay with like the current state of the state. I don't know. I mean, he's been doing it for a while. I'm kind of surprised that people aren't more excited about it. Maybe they just haven't had a game yet that, I don't know, that people get really excited about. But I mean, I wish all these guys the best. We'll see. If Portal could be really cool, I don't know. But a couple of the multimorphic games I have played, I played Princess Bride. I didn't play it for long enough to form a real strong opinion. I played the other game that's like the successor to Total Nuclear Annihilation. I can't think of the name of that one right now. I really did enjoy that. I can't think of which one that was. And then I never have played some of the games I've seen them on location, and that unfortunately they were down when I was there, so I didn't get a chance to play them. So we'll circle back on P3 at some point. I kind of want to get the team on the podcast. I want to start doing a little bit more interviews. I'd like to get David Van Ness from Barrels of Fun, and we talked to him. I talked to him a little bit. I think he'd agree to be on, and it'd be cool to get Jerry from Multimorphic on, just to kind of talk about it, because he is doing some really interesting, innovative things, I think, with that platform that are very cool and should at least be. I have an appreciation for it from an engineering standpoint. I think he's really trying to like do something different, and I can appreciate that. So, anyways, so the Barrel of Fun tour ended with this amazing barbecue lunch. The barbecue was out of this world. I wish, oh my gosh, they had these sausages that had cheddar in them and jalapeno. I wanted more of them, but I didn't take enough of them. I'm like so bummed. I was talking to Mason. I'm like, dude, are these sausages not freaking epic? He's like, yeah. I was like, we should go back. And then we waited too long. We came back, it was all gone. All gone. So anyways, that was really fun. I had a great time. Great time with Barrels of Fun. So now that ends at 1. So keep in mind, the TWIPYs, the doors are opening at 5. It's 1 o'clock. I look at Jamie and Colin, and I'm like, dude, and Ian, I'm like, dude, I'm dying right now. Like, I am so exhausted. I don't take naps. I'm like, I need to try. I need to try to go back to the hotel and try to take a nap. So I did like I don't know. It was the best I could do. I'm not a big napper. It kind of worked. It was sort of a nap. I don't know. It was the best I could do for a nap. I maybe slept for an hour. So then I rushed to get ready, and then I headed over to the Wormhole for the TWIPYs. And the TWIPYs, I documented the whole thing basically on that YouTube video, but man, I had such a good time. It's just really cool when you meet people through the hobby, both friends that you make and then new friends that you make and longtime friends. It was so fun. Like, it almost makes me like, I was really sad when it ended, to be honest, because it was just we were having so much fun and just like enjoying each other's company, playing games with each other, and then just the community there in Houston was really cool. Like really cool. They were so appreciative of us doing the event, and we had it set up so that when you were there at the Wormhole, there was a PA system. So we're set up and you're hearing us on the live stream, but they heard us like it's a concert almost, right? So they're hearing it full blast, which actually I've never done that before. I've never set up a PA system for when I was doing a podcast. That was a little challenging because I was like, all right, how can I? Because you have to position the speaker in such a way that you're not getting reverb through your microphones. So I figured that out. That took a little while. I was like, Jamie, do you have this cable? Jamie, do you have that cable? He's like, yeah, I got it. So I got that figured out for him. When I first got there, that was not working right, but we got that figured out. So I think everyone really enjoyed seeing the show live, and the reactions, like having the actual crowd reaction, was really cool. Now I've never attended TPF ever, so I don't know what it was like to see the TWIPYs live, but I hope that we can have an even bigger audience. I don't know how many people we can fit into the Wormhole for next year, but I hope we can have even more. It seemed like we had like 50 or 60 people in there. At least that's how it felt to me. It felt pretty packed, and everyone was just having such a great time. But I can't stress enough, like Aaron is amazing, Jamie's amazing, Ian is so fun, and he's like so quick-witted, so like having him on that, we'll get that dialed in for next year, but having him on the commentator cam, like so he's like a roaming reporter. He's like so good at that because I don't know if you know, but Ian does a lot of improv. So he goes and does like improv shows. He's just so fast. Like I can be witty, but not as fast as him. He's like boom, boom. And he's fun to be able to feed off of because he's just so good at that. So I don't know if I don't think he's fully exploited that yet, even on his own podcast. I think one, and his podcast is amazing. They've only got a couple episodes, but if you haven't listened to the Nudge Cast, definitely go check it out. His audience is building very quickly, and they do such a good job. So I think Ian has so much talent that he could continue to exploit on his own podcast because he's just a fun guy. But anyway, so yeah, I had such a, I was sad to leave. It was like sad, but then the thing is that we weren't leaving, so the TWIPYs were over. It was like this weird rush of adrenaline for it, but then kind of this like, oh, like it just kind of, I don't know, it was weird. But then I was like, all right, well, we have the next day. We still have Sunday. So still, if you go next year, you have this to look forward to too. So they did a 3X, what do you call it? 3 strikes, you're out tournament at the Wormhole the next day. And a lot of the people that attended the TWIPYs went. That was a blast. I actually lasted pretty long in that. I got close to the final round, and then I got knocked out on, shoot, I can't remember what game it is. It was a tough game. It was a tough older game. It was another Zachariah game. I can't remember what it was, but yeah. And then my other highlight is, so that Sunday, I want to say it was that Sunday, I think. I think Rob from Electric Playground was still there. Congratulations on the award, by the way. He was there, and he was showing me how to play Elton John, and man, I have a newfound respect for Elton John. I never played it really. I just always had to play it so fast because we were always like at Expo or somewhere where it was like tough to play it. That's a fun game, actually. I'm not a big Elton John fan, though. It's like, but like Steve Ritchie's games are just awesome. Like it's an awesome shooter. It shoots so well. I just have such an appreciation for it now. I just wish it wasn't Elton John, just because I don't know, I don't get hype. Elton John doesn't hype me. Now, if you like reskinned it and it was a Beastie Boys, I'd be like, hell yeah, because that music would be more something I'd be into. But yeah, they did a great job on Elton John. I don't know. I think Elton John just probably struggles because you have to want an Elton John pinball machine. So yeah, so that was my whole TWIPY recap. If you want to see the video, obviously it's like, very highly edited. I had Mason edit it. I filmed some of it. Mason filmed some of it. The first half of it's my footage. Mason edited the whole thing, but he did an amazing job on the edit. So if you do watch the video, throw a little comment in there saying how good he did. I think he'd appreciate that. But yeah, man, this was one of those things. I hope that we can get an even larger crowd next year, because talk about a fun time. I think you guys would, if you can go, I think they'll probably sell out of the tickets next year, knowing how much fun it was. So, all right, we're going to jump to voicemails real quick because I'm currently at 34 minutes. And I like to keep the shows somewhat brief, but lately I've been going almost into the hour. I don't want to go all the way to the hour. So, all right, we got one. I'm going to start the voicemails. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So hopefully it doesn't go too long. But the first voicemail is from, let's see, I need to make sure we get the voicemails queued up properly. All right. The first voicemail is from someone named TWIPY. So let's see what this is. I don't screen these beforehand, so if they're naughty or anything, I don't know, man. Let's see what's going on.
Hey Ralph, I was watching the TWIPYs the other night, and congratulations on your TWIPY on your award, well deserved. And I realized I like saying TWIPY. But I noticed the Elton John pinball machine that was
We were
nominated,
just talking
right?
about Elton John.
And I was like, Elton John, like they can make a pinball machine out of anybody. Is there a Weird Al Yankovic pinball machine? And then I Googled it, and there's I love Weird Al. Like there's actually a Weird Al pinball machine. That's awesome. Anyway, yeah, congratulations. Well deserved. Love the show. Twippy.
All right. So I think that's Chad. I think that's my buddy Chad from Lincoln. I don't know if he still lives in Lincoln, Rhode Island. So yeah, there is a Weird Al pinball machine. That is by P3. I have never played it. Me personally, I wouldn't want a Weird Al machine, but I think there's a lot of people that maybe would. Obviously, they wouldn't have made it, I don't think, if the people weren't into that. But yeah, thank you for the congratulations. I really appreciate that. And yes, there is a Weird Al pinball machine. All right, the next voicemail is from Medic. I think this is Molar Medic. I think that's what he goes by. It's a long voicemail. I don't know if I'm gonna play the whole thing because it looks like it's 4 minutes long. So let's see what Molar Medic has to say.
Hey, Ralph, it's me, Medic. I'm running out of stuff to say. I've hit the reset button like 15 times. I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. Cause like I literally have been going on like 5-minute messages, making stupid voices.
Well, this one's 4 minutes, so
Running out of stuff to say. Really am. Play, have fun, enter tournaments, enter leagues. Bring Kim, bring the boy. Put him in a female tournament. Put him in a junior league. Sponsor play. Alright? Get in there. Do stuff. I like that you're branching out and meeting Gary and all the others, but sometimes I really want to see you just in a room in a tournament with like 8 other guys talking about, nope, got 3rd place. We'll try next time. So,
Medic, I don't think you've been listening lately because I've been doing the tournaments for a while now, but that's okay. We'll continue. It's been almost, I don't know, it's got to be almost a year and a half that I've been doing, maybe not, maybe a year that I've been like really seriously doing tournament play. So I don't know, maybe you haven't listened lately.
get out there. Put some effort in and elbow. I also like that you promote other channels who are smaller and that you've been linking up with them and meeting with them. And they're all good guys. When I see that you meet with some of them, I'm like, okay, those guys like Ralph. Those guys must be cool. And
Yeah, I mean, if you like me, you got to be cool. No, just kidding. I don't know. I appreciate that, man. I do try to promote other channels, obviously, you know. I mean, I have a lot of other friends that are content creators, so obviously, yeah, of course. I mean, anybody that's talking about pinball, that's a good thing.
immediately go right to their channel and I subscribe. I do. So, you're the man in the field, Ralph. And a lot of people see it and they know it. So, just continue having fun, playing.
Medic, I am having the freaking time of my life, really. Honestly, this hobby has really reinvigorated me. I'll tell you, I was covering arcade stuff for a really long time, and holy shit, this has just been so much fun. I'm so passionate about this. I think sometimes, like, I am a very, like, I'll tell you guys, you know, sometimes I get crap for being so positive. That's just how I am. You know what I mean? And especially in my hobby, like, I want this to be fun. If it stopped being fun, or if I got caught up in like drama or nonsense, that wouldn't be fun. I mean, there's too much drama in real life. You know what I mean? There's too much. We have stuff in our own lives. Like, your hobby should be fun. I don't want to be angry playing pinball. I want to be happy. This is a happy thing. Hobbies are supposed to be escapes for people. I'm sorry. Like I'm not sorry. I'm not going to say I'm sorry for being me, but this is just how I am. Anybody that knows me and gets to know me outside of the hobby, and I meet so many people, talk to any of those people, are going to say, yeah, that's the same guy that's on the podcast. I can't help it that I'm a positive person. It's just kind of how I am. And even when I'm critical, yeah, maybe I'm a little bit like, I'm not a harsh critic, but I'm a critic. I can still be critical. I'm just not going to be like, this sucks. Cause saying that doesn't add any value, right? If you say this sucks, what this sucks, why? You know what I mean? Like, it's just, I've always been more about constructive criticism versus being so brutal about things. And that's just not my style. Nothing against people that are that way. That some people are like that, and some people really enjoy consuming that content. So, all right, Medic, we'll keep going here. We're running out of time. Your voicemail's really long, but I appreciate it.
Meeting Gary and working. Don't be trying to like pitch a T-shirt or make a buck off of any of the fan base. Just be happy that we're here, because
I'm very happy that you guys are here. Like, you guys, I mean, I won a TWIPY. That wouldn't, it was very I did not expect that at all. That was so cool, especially knowing that my roots came from arcade and I've kind of naturally, organically went down the pinball path, which it was funny because everyone told me I would. Everyone's like, you're going to sell your arcade collection and you're going to get into pinball. Everyone. It was crazy. They were all like, this is going to be your path. And the thing is, I never wanted my path to be dictated by someone else. I'm never like that. I'm always like a pave my own way kind of guy. I don't follow the leader. Like, that's not how I do things. I just do it how I feel. If I'm passionate about it, I'm going to do it. And if I'm losing passion for it, I'll stop doing it, only because I can't fake the funk. I just can't. If you would see it on me if I was doing something, and I've had people like, there was a podcast in my past that I let go too long, and people would message me and be like, "You're not into this anymore." And I knew it. I knew it then. In my head, I knew it, but I kept it going a little too long. And so I appreciate that. By the way, I don't really, I don't charge for anything. I don't expect any money. I've never really, like, I do sell things. Like, there is, some merch stuff available, but I have it down to like zero profit. I don't really make any money on any of that stuff. So the only money I really make through the hobby is probably, I do have that sponsorship with Flipping Out Pinball, which I've been transparent about. It was a lump sum for a year of promotion. So for a year, I have a not a like a handshake contract with them that I will promote Flipping Out Pinball. But the only reason why I entered into that is because I really like what Zach does. He makes it super easy for people to trade in their games. And so if you're someone that wants to cycle through your collection, he's great. Like, he's great, nice guy, easy to do business with. My buddy Ryan just traded in a bunch of his machines, and yeah, so he's just easy to work with, and I feel like I'll enter a partnership if I feel like it's someone that I would want to buy from. Right? I'm not going to do it for it. Like, the amount of money that he gave me is not some life changing money. I could have just said no, but I just thought, hey, this is kind of cool to have a sponsor for the thing. But it's not that much money. Trust me, guys. It's like, it's not gonna make a dent in anything. This is for fun. This isn't for financial gain.
we are, and I plan on being. So it's like, enjoy it, man. Enjoy it.
I am
mean,
loving
who
it, man.
knew that you were gonna be good at it? I did. I did. I did. I knew you were gonna be good at it.
I
Even when
appreciate
you
that,
didn't.
man. I don't know if I'd say, I feel like I'm getting better. I feel like my skills are improving a lot. So, and I love it, man. It's fun. Thank you for being a little overconfident, boosting my confidence level. But I still think I have a long way to go. But I'm getting a lot better. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the confidence you have in me.
So just kind of exhale when you have that doubt. Okay, when you have that disbelief.
That happens.
Okay, hear all the voices telling you yes you can, or why you can't. You got a guy for that now. All right, you're not doing this shit alone.
Wait, is that you now? Are you my guy, Medic? I'll call you up. If I can have this kind of talk with you all the time, this would be awesome. I'm probably going to, unfortunately, I don't know if I can listen to this whole voicemail. I want to. I'll probably listen to the rest privately because the podcast is getting too long. I'll listen to it a little bit more because I really am appreciating this, man.
All right, you got a guy for that now. And
I got a guy.
I don't know. I'll try to leave another message when I can or something like that. God knows. Like, I'm sorry I'm a bad fan, dude. Like, I don't thumbs up every video. I don't comment every video.
You don't?
Hell, I barely watch every video all the way through. Because, like,
See? I knew you haven't been watching it because you would have known that I've been doing the competitive thing for a while. Anyway, I'm going to cut it off here, Medic. I'm going to listen to the rest of it, but this was awesome. Thank you so much. Like, nice positive message. I love it. All right, we're going to Marla and Darren.
Hi, Ralph. This is Marla.
Okay.
I'm a pinball groupie. I think TWIPY winners are sexy.
Okay.
I'd like to get my flippers on you.
Stupid.
Get a little multi-ball action.
Nah, girl, nah. Don't be talking to Ralph like
Really?
that's a married man right there. That's a married man. Nah, girl, nah.
Okay, I know that's Chad, so that's funny, but yeah, that's not Marla or Darren, that's Chad, but okay. This one's from King Conk. King Conk has been someone that's listened to the channel for or watched my channel for a really long time, like from the start, so this should be interesting. The hell?
Yo. Hello, Retro Ralph. This is King Kong. We want Screen Pinball next. What are you doing?
I did not expect this. I was so frustrated, man. So I don't know, have any of you, it would make me feel better. Did any of you experience this? This inability
What the hell?
to, like, perform under pressure. I just sound sick.
Are you all alone? What's up?
Okay, that's King Conk. I guess he wants Scream Pinball. That's awesome. Oh my gosh, he's funny as hell. He's been watching me for a really long time. All right, the next one's from Jeremy. We got two more, and then we'll wrap up the show. That was awesome. All right, this one's from Jeremy.
Hey Ralph, thanks for all the great content. Longtime fan. Look forward to it all the time. Thanks for the insider connected information. With that app, I was able to find a table at a local brewery within walking distance. Brand new table
awesome.
for the brewery. So I got first place. So you know I'm going to keep going there to defend it. Can you give some pros and cons of buying a new Stern table and some pros and cons of buying a 90s Bailey's Williams table? Thanks a lot.
All right. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you. I think it was Jeremy, right? Was that Jeremy? Yeah. Thank you, Jeremy. His question was, what would be the pros and cons for buying a Stern new in box or a Bally Williams, like an older Bally Williams? I mean, I think, you buy an older game, you're going to probably have to do more maintenance and work on it. I mean, I have the T2, which is a Williams game. Yeah, I definitely, I've had a couple little issues with it, like little quirky things, and I've had to go in and learn, how to fix the older games. But I think it just matters. Maybe it's more of a budget thing. Like I think you can probably find a lot of Bally Williams or Williams games for a good price. So if it's your money will go further on the older games, just know you could have to do some work on them. But and then obviously you can buy some that maybe are collector quality that someone did a bunch of rehab to, but you're going to pay a lot more for those. So yeah, I don't know. One would come with a warranty and one would not. So you got to factor that in if it's like your first game, but. I think either way, as long as you're handy and don't mind getting your hands dirty, sometimes you can have a good time buying some. I am loving the one thing that's so cool about this hobby is diving into some of these older games. They're so fun. And you look at some of the. I was talking to Jamie about this at the Wormhole. I was like, man, they were really innovative with some of these old games, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, why are we not seeing as much of that? Because there's so many wild ideas that they went. And maybe the wild ideas were like, maybe people just don't want that. But I got to think that we could push the limits a little bit more with modern technology because some of these old ideas were very cool. Like things that I can see, if you took that as inspiration and just built on it, you could do something really cool. So anyways, this is a really good question. Hopefully I answered it for you. Next one is from Drew.
Hey, Ralph, how are you? It's Drew from Los Angeles. Two things. Number one, did like your 4-year hobby recap
Thanks, man.
podcast. Fairly new to the hobby myself. The 1-year mark, did get a chance to go to Expo last year. And yeah, I can't wait to get my first game. Second part two, where I live in Los Angeles is like the Bermuda Triangle of pinball. No pinball games. No
No.
pinball games. I'm talking like no pinball games. What do you think could be done about that? All right, man. Love the show.
Shoot, Drew, I don't know where you're at in Los Angeles, but there's definitely a lot. When I look at pinball, like look at pinball map and see, I mean, it's got to be something, man. I actually was just recently in Northern California because my wife Kim, she had it was a friend's 40th birthday. So up in like the Livermore, California area, up in Northern California, man, it was like a pinball desert out there. I found every machine when I was on pinball map, it was like not connected to Insider Connected. And I'm like, I can't ruin my streak. Like I got to get my streak. And I ended up finding this place. It was a bocce ball place and they had 4 pinball machines, I think. And holy crap, the Godzilla was just tore up from the floor up. I mean, the thing was just not good. It did not look good. And it was just so dirty. It looked like it had never been cleaned. But it played. I mean, it played okay. But yeah, maybe take a look at pinball map. There's got to be something around. I got to think Los Angeles. I mean, there's certain areas that I've looked at in LA. There's a couple of places out there. So there's got to be something. That'd be my only advice. I don't know, dude. And then like, I don't know. I don't know how to like, if you have some local guys that want to try to get into it and maybe start a location, but I just think LA gets really expensive to do that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't really know. Maybe if someone in the comments could give you some tips on that. All right, the last one. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate the support, man. Next one is from Coco. I have a feeling this one's going to be a fake one. I don't know because I don't know any someone named Coco, but let's see.
My name's Ralphie and I swing from the trees. What do I do for some retro crispies? Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, Coco. I want to hear the rest of your song, man. Maybe the next voicemail you can leave the rest of the song. So, all right. Well, we're coming up on an hour. That's all I got. I got the voicemails. We talked about the TWIPY recap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. But definitely I encourage you, go to Retro Ralph, watch the video I did. It's a full recap of the TWIPY Awards. You get to see some cool behind the scenes stuff. So yeah, go check that out. I'll have a link in the description to that video. But yeah, I guess before we get going, I did want to say, let me just kill this really quick. I did want to say, thank you for all your support because I don't think that I anticipated what happened when I kind of started following my passion. It's tough because you don't know if people are going to follow you to something new. And the thing is, I acquired a lot of listeners and viewers that were, found me maybe through other channels that didn't know about my arcade stuff. They just know me now from the pinball stuff, which that's really cool. But to get the kind of support I've been getting, and even to enough that people would vote for me for the Breakout Creator Award was pretty cool. And I did pretty good in the other categories too. And I did say I was nominated, but I didn't push it really much on people. And so it was just cool that organically you guys went out there and you're enjoying hearing my opinion about pinball because it's just so fun. This hobby is so great. If you're a first time listener here, like I can't tell you how cool the community is. You can easily get caught up in like the dark areas of Pinside. I like Pinside for the most part, but there's some dark areas. There's dark areas of every hobby, but I'd say those people are a loud minority, but the majority of people when you go on location are super cool people. They welcome you into the hobby, and for me, a lot of people had no idea who I was, and they just welcomed me in. And now I have a lot of support, and I've made a lot of friends. But I just want to also say before we wrap it up, there was a lot of really, really good content creators that were nominated in a lot of different categories. Don't be discouraged if you didn't win this award. This award it's fun to be recognized in that way, but just be proud of the nomination at all, So there's too many good content creators to like, I'm not saying you should discredit the awards, but at the same time, like that shouldn't make or break you. You know what I mean? It's just a fun thing where the community votes and there's a bit of a popularity contest aspect to it. So just if you are a content creator, don't take it so seriously, I guess. and just keep doing what you're doing because there's so many good creators in this space. All right, guys, that's it. And we will see you on... I talked over the whole song. What the heck? We'll replay it. I was like, it's like the longest outro ever. Hold on. What the heck? Now it's not working. Oh my gosh, I'm breaking the whole thing. Come on. Oh no. Oh no. All right, now we're gonna wrap it up. I'm Italian. Italian goodbyes take forever. Italian and goodbyes take forever. Anyways, I appreciate the support, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Comment below and let me know what you thought. And we will see you on the flip side. Thanks, guys.